Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live's favorites, podcast favorites, channel favorites, everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it, hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it, leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, pandasups.com, discount code TDL for 35% off. All right. So we are doing some free agent, probably a final free agent preview, kind of, right? I mean, I guess we'll do
I think we should do one more because, I mean, I guess Monday the action really gets going, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I just wish free agency was after the draft because it's just ruining my draft prep here.
I like it before that because then you get like, I don't know. I feel like you have to have free agency first. Like, I don't like the way the NBA does it, where like you make your draft picks and then like all of a sudden like now you have a brand new team a week later after you lose free agents. Like, what was it? Not to call out LeBron here, but to call out LeBron here when he like had them draft was it Shabazz Napier and then left Miami. Like that's like that was the most ridiculous scenario. Like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the way it does, but it does. It is an interrupter where it's like all of a sudden now we've got to like we go to the combine, then all of a sudden now we turn around and now we're focusing on free agents right again. So.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's a weird turnaround. So the thing with it too is, you know, like I just finished all like the offensive alignment. I'm going to the running backs, and it's just the running backs are just so quick. Different offensive alignment. Offensive alignment took me forever. I've already got through like 7 running backs, so it's just it's a quicker process from here on out. I'm super excited about it because I got the alignment done. I got the quarterbacks done where it's like 50 plays, right? And then these running backs it's like 30, 25, and you get like defensive ends 30, forward. It's gonna get easier. And then I get this big old halt. I know I'm gonna have to watch a bunch of free agents that they sign. So yeah, it's great stuff. But coming back from the scouting combine, kind of going out there. I was talking about how it's a little slow out there a little bit this time. Not too many rumors, but
not really.
There was the typical type of stuff, and, some things that came out, afterwards, especially for the Raiders. So let's talk about some of that stuff. The article that came out from Vic Tafur and Deshaun Reed. Talk about how the Raiders aren't looking to really trade up to 3. They did, but they didn't. They're looking more to 5 or 7. Which I thought was interesting. So like who are they targeting at 5 or 7 that they're looking at right there? So and a lot of it too, I got out of that article just about the Raiders here. And of course they went offensive line, they went D line, but just to kind of a little bit of the confidence to give Aiden O'Connell too a little bit. I think Pierce is saying a lot of good things about him. Talk about it's disrespectful that he just say he's not the starter and then say, well, we are going to bring in competition. So it's just a weird kind of vibe I'm getting from that. Like we don't want to trade up now, but we kind of want to, maybe get to 7 and then maybe trade up again. I don't know. It's just a weird strategy. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, first of all, I gotta say this. I got a bone to pick with Vic here because I went up to him, talked to him a little bit one day and asked him about trading up to 1 to 3, and he was telling me, so yeah, I know they want to, but I don't think they'll be able to. And I asked him specifically about what about like getting ahead of Atlanta in 5 to 7, and then he said basically didn't know anything. And then like 2 days later, he drops that article. I mean, I guess he just he couldn't give me all the scoops, but I'm like, come on, man, I'll be secret for you. And he just hung me out to dry there. Had me think they're going to stay at 13. But no, I mean, reading the tea leaves here, I think it's pretty clear that they want to move on from Aiden O'Connell, or not necessarily move on from Aiden O'Connell. They want to try and upgrade from Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, 100%.
But they have their sights set on those top 3. And now that it's looking like they're not going to be able to get one of those 3 guys, they're kind of like backtracking of like, well, maybe we're not that sold on JJ McCarthy, which I can understand he definitely needs some time to develop. And I feel like for JJ McCarthy, he'd want to go to a situation where he can maybe sit and play behind like a veteran for a year and not a second-year guy that he's going to be, competing with and also could use some development and that kind of thing. So I think that's where the holdup is, and that's why it's like they want to push up for a Jaden Daniels, a Caleb Williams, or a Drake Maye. They just probably won't be able to. And then now it's like, well, do we like JJ McCarthy enough to give up picks for him? And that's not an easy answer. I couldn't even give you a straight answer for you. And I kind of like JJ McCarthy. It's just there's a lot of stuff he needs to work on too. That he's the most unproven guy of those top 3 for sure. The top 4, I guess I should say, for sure.
Yeah, and you know, JJ's buzz is growing crazy. I just read this article from the Athletic about the execs like top 10, who's going top 10, and a lot of them were talking about him going over Drake May at 3 to the Patriots, or at 2 or something like that. These crazy spots they were talking about. I was like, wow. I mean, if he has the execs thinking that maybe he might go there, and because he didn't go, he wasn't in their top 10, but they're talking about the trade scenarios of people trying to trade up and get JJ. So obviously JJ had a great combine, obviously. So he's growing. I think Drake May is kind of, I wouldn't say he's falling, but you know, I think the buzz on him, he's kind of was neutral a little bit because Jaden Daniels, you know, even in the Bob McGinn scout article, he was 2. They had him going 2 to the Commanders. The execs did. So obviously,
Yeah.
we'll see him over Drake May at this point. So it's gonna be interesting. They're saying it's between Drake and JJ. I'm like, oh man. So if the Raiders do trade up to 7 or something like that, it could be for May, and that's would be a different type of outlook. But if May gets to 4, it's gonna be like a sweep to get to 4. So
The Cardinals are gonna be thrilled if Drake May lands to 4. I mean, unless they want Marvin that bad, like they could legit probably get a pretty good haul because I don't know. I mean, I guess if the league doesn't view May that way either, like I do feel like some of the discourse, I think we were talking about this last time, is like a little bit of prospect fatigue with May. Like he's a pretty good player, he's a damn good passer, but like I like him over McCarthy for sure.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't even be a question to me, but I guess if the league doesn't view it that way, then the Raiders could benefit. We'll see.
Yeah, because I think with May, I think it's just more that he is more of a building thing. You got to build him up, fix his mechanics a little bit. You know, the toughness in the pocket thing I talk about. I don't know if that's ever going to change, but you can fix his mechanics. You can get him more set where he's accurate. Because when his mechanics are set, he's a very accurate quarterback. He throws great balls down the field. You know, you just kind of got to give him a little bit more time, I think. And he's not going to be like a ready product. Like I say, I think Jaden Daniels is more of a finished product, so I think he'll play better year 1. It's just with Drake May, who's going to be the better year 3 if he actually is that locked in and puts the work in. He might be the best guy year 3. So that's why, you know, with me, with Drake May, that's why I would never put JJ McCarthy over him, because at the end of the day, he's probably 6'3", 223 with the cannon arm who can move. And so you know what I'm saying? So there's a high upside. He's only 21. He's redshirt sophomore. You know, I'm not a big fan of redshirt sophomores coming out. I think CJ Stroud's probably the first good one. You know, Jameis Winston was, you know, he was okay. Sam Darnold was a bust. Johnny Manziel. I keep going redshirt sophomore. So, you know, you're taking a chance with him a little bit, but the potential is higher than, you know, it's up there with Caleb when it comes to like if he hits where you think he can hit. Right. But I think Jaden Daniels is more the finished product right now. So he's probably going to go over him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in May, because that might be the guy the Raiders end up getting. I mean, or trading up for if they trade up to 7 or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of hope that Jaden Daniels would be the more finished product of between him and Drake May, seeing as he has two more years of being a starter than him, 3 more years of being a starter. So yeah, definitely see where you're coming from. Yeah. But it's the old draft things. Like, do you want the best player right now, or do you want the best player 3 or 4 years from now? And that's kind of the big question that you got to answer. And obviously there's probably a little more of a gamble with Drake May, given how young he is. But tell you what, man, plenty of talent in that right arm for sure.
Yeah. So what do you think about the scenario that I saw in Jordan Reed's mock draft, like taking Brian Murphy or somebody, one of the best players available at 13, and then taking Michael Penix in the 2nd round?
Ironically, in our last Bleacher Report mock draft, that's legitimately how it worked out. I mean, I took Latham instead of one of the defensive tackles or a defender. But yeah, like that's what I did is went with more of a best player available and kind of fitting the need too for the Raiders in the 1st round, and then getting a guy like Penix in the 2nd. I mean, I like that scenario from a value standpoint. I mean, I think I'm intrigued by Penix. Have my concerns about him, but as a guy in the 2nd round, like I'd be pretty ecstatic about that. I mean, if he ends up sliding to them and falling in their laps to where they either don't have to give up anything for him, or they give up very little to go get their guy and get a guy who can probably step in and start right away type of player, then I think that might be the best scenario, better than trading up for a guy like JJ that again would probably be better off sitting around sitting his 1st year. So yeah, I don't know. I'd be ecstatic if I don't know about what your thoughts are.
Yeah, with Penix, I think he needs some work too, just with accuracy and stuff like that. But I think in the second round, it's a better value for me to take him there. Because I wouldn't take him at 13 or anything like that. I think that's really too high just for where I feel like his upside is. Because even when he has that big arm, he still is a pocket passer. So I mean, he has to be able to play within that and navigate the pocket, play pretty well. And I think with some of his mechanics and things and this way he throws the ball, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for him to do some of those things since he is a pocket passer. Like it'll be different. I would feel different about Penix if he was running for 80 yards a game too. Like he was just moving. There'd be a lot of different. My feelings would be different for him. But it's just since I know he is a pocket passer, that means I can navigate him a little bit, look at him a little different, and watch him navigate the pocket and watch him work the pocket. And see how he can, go to the next level. And that's my thing. So I think the second round at 44 would be good value for him there. And then, he's got to battle that. He's got to go out there and beat Aiden O'Connell. That's on him, though. So,
yeah. I mean, definitely. I love we talk about the mechanics. I'm like, and my first thought that pops in my head is, oh yeah, because he throws with the wrong hand.
That too. Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah. I mean, like I said, Penix, plenty of arm talent. Got the deep ball. Al Davis would love the pick, that's for sure. Got plenty of arm strength. I thought of all the quarterbacks, I don't know how much you got to watch of them throwing on Saturday, but I kind of felt like he had the best overall day. I mean, he still had the accuracy issues, but as far as the deep ball and the most consistent thrower, I thought he was probably one of the more impressive guys. And he kind of he a little bit had his like CJ Stroud moment a little bit against Texas in that Sugar Bowl or whatever bowl game that was in the semi-finals, the college football playoffs, where he showed a little bit more being able to move in the pocket, which we hadn't seen too much before. So he's definitely an intriguing guy, and I mean, I can be all in. I can be sold on him in the second round, kind of similar to like a Derek Carr situation in 2014, where you get a guy that you think can be a decent quarterback and be a decent starter for you for a few years, and in that second round that doesn't come around too often. So I'd be intrigued by that.
Yeah. All right. What about the other positions? We talked the sexy position so far. Offensive line. There's a bunch of athletic freaks over there. Just blew it out of the water. All those athletic guys. Even wide receiver was crazy. Even though the Raiders aren't looking for wide receiver in the draft, still was crazy there. And then defense tackle. There's some good standouts there too. I mean, Brandon Fisk. Braden Fisk. He had a really standout day. Really showed his athleticism. Maybe he's a riser, into the late first round. I don't know if he'd be there at 13. But what were your thoughts on some of the other positions that stood out?
I mean, I think the thing that like the common theme, like you're talking about a lot, is this draft is like, and this whole offseason is really set up well for the Raiders to fit their needs. Like plenty of offensive tackle options, or plenty of right tackle options, plenty of or I guess there's more centers than guards this year in the offseason. But I mean, Raiders could use a center, and you keep Dylan Parham at guard, or you can draft one of those centers and see if they can play guard. That's usually a little bit easier of a transition than the other way around. And then the defensive tackles, I mean, Byron Murphy, I thought he looked pretty good. You mentioned Braden Fisk. He did so well. Even when he'd like slip or screw up, it was smooth. Like even when he was like messing up, like we're like, damn, dude, he recovered nicely. Like he's still a pretty good athlete. I mean, running a 4.78 at, I think he weighed in at 292 pounds. That's just ridiculous. I mean, some of my concerns about him, his technique is terrible because he's got those T-Rex arms, and they're super short. But he's a guy that I think probably is going to be the second round category now for him. Super quick, contribute as a pass rusher. Just let him penetrate against the run, and don't worry about him two gapping or anything like that, where he has to use his arms and has to use his hands. Like he's definitely an intriguing player. I think I talked about Byron Murphy a little bit too. He had tested pretty well, not off the charts, but I think almost most tests, if not all, he was like top 5 in the position group of the guys that tested. Guy that I've been kind of pounding the table for a little bit and talking about. I think I brought him up before the Senior Bowl. Ruka Horoho. I felt like he wasn't getting quite as much buzz, but he also was another guy that's in that like 290, 295 pound range that, tested really well. He was a guy I thought that would crush it. Basketball background, really good athlete. And tell you what, you watch his tape, he's got some pop in those hands too. So definitely a guy that I think can be better down the line. Again, kind of the consistent theme here is needs to work on his technique, but newer to the game. And again, can move well, strong, and all that good stuff. So a lot of guys that I think you can really like pinpoint for Raiders needs. And I mean, quarterback too. A lot of good, maybe not the top end talent that we've seen in years past, but outside of like the top 10 picks, there's a lot of meat to that in that mid first to early second round range. Cam Hart's the guy that stands out from Notre Dame. He tested pretty well and is long for his size. So a lot of good players for the Raiders to kind of pick this year.
Yeah, I mean, interior O-line, and I know they met with Barton and Jackson Powers Johnson. So they're looking at those positions. They're trying to upgrade at center. So it'll be interesting because Barton at 44, or even trading up in the second round to get him or something like that. That would be a big get for me in my opinion. So even like waiting on somebody like Christian Haynes, who had a good combine, Cooper Beebe. He blew it out of the water with his athleticism. Those type of guys are, the depth is there for this draft, especially in the interior offensive line. Tackle is really, I feel tackle is a little top heavy. There is a little depth there, but it's like all the 12 guys you say there are depth, they're going before 44. So like, that's the kind of thing with it, right? Gotcha. Like, yeah, there's depth. There's like 12 guys full of depth, but the Raiders, they're going to have to decide if that's what the position they want. They're going to have to, I don't know, move back, whatever they got to do to get the guy that they want.
Picks or something.
Yeah, because it's not going to be easy. Those tackles are going to be going quick. I mean, even the guy from BYU, I don't fully see him getting all the way to 44. He might, but there's just all these types of tackles out there that are just pretty damn good. So it'll be interesting to see who the Raiders like and what I'll probably do some more deep diving into that and try to figure out what exactly what he's looking for in a lineman and kind of figure out who exactly they're going to pick.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. A guy I don't even think you brought up, Oregon State from Tuisi Fuaga? I believe that's how you say it. I mean, I think he'd be another guy to keep an eye on. Probably more of an option at 13. Because again, he's not lasting in the second round. He might not even last at 13.
I know,
but has experience playing right tackle, physical mauler in the run game. And did he test? I feel like he did all right. Like he wasn't the big guy that like stole the show from the offensive line on Sunday was Fontenot out of Washington. Another guy that could be on the table for him. That again, similar type of profile that can mess people up in the run game and a dancing bear out there on the edge. So interesting draft class, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. All right. Anything? Nothing else. Combine, free agents. Everybody's getting released from the Bills. That's really kind of the update. The whole Bills team is gone. Darius Blims is out there, so that's a kind of a new option for the Raiders. But today we're doing Christian Wilkins and Robert Hunt. So those two guys that Raiders fans really want to see join this football team. I know Robert Hunt is a big one, but Christian Wilson's a stud. I really don't have to see the tape. I'm already expecting to see a stud. So, and I know that already. So did that show me? But Robert Hunt, he's a pretty good guard, but I'm not gonna say he's a great guard. And I don't know if he's worth $16 million, which I saw he's wanting. That's the thing with Robert Hunt. That's a lot of money. But that's
going up. Cap's going up.
Oh man, but Raiders fans, they pocket watch. As soon as he started playing bad, is he worth $16 million? Yeah, because I'm not gonna say he'll be bad. It's just watching him with Tua gets rid of the ball so fast that even there's moments where I was like, okay, if Tua held the ball longer, what happens, right? So that's gonna be the interesting thing with him. Like, what did you see with Christian Wilkins? Though I know he's the big guy here.
Yeah, I mean, for Christian Wilkins, like one of the things we'll see is he plays the run and pass rushes pretty similarly, which is not a bad thing at all. It's pretty good. Like he's pretty physically dominant at the point of attack. Like we'll see a handful of reps of him just perfect leverage, perfect hand placement, and even gave a guy like Zach Martin, who's going to be putting on a gold jacket when it's all said and done, some trouble when they played him. And definitely a physically dominant dude. I was surprised to see him hit the open market. The Dolphins are in a little bit of cap hell right now. I don't know where they're at, but I think after the Bills, all their moves today, the Dolphins might have the least amount of cap space, like something like a bunch of money in the hole. So I would imagine, again, I'm not a cap guy, so I don't know specifically. I would imagine that probably means they're not going to be able to get a deal done with Wilkins, especially if they want to pay Tua in the next year or so. So I think he'll be able to hit the open market, be a guy that could be on the radar for the Raiders, and definitely going to be a good contributor for him. You know, I think last time when we talked about Leonard Williams or whenever it was, I think those two guys are pretty similar in that they're complete players and complete defensive tackles. I still think Leonard Williams is probably a little bit better. Liked him a little bit more. I thought he offered a little bit more pass rush moves than a guy like Wilkins does. But I mean, you can't go wrong with either of those two guys. You sign either one of them, they're going to get good money no matter where they go. Like you solve a really big problem and you get a stud in the middle of your defense. That would be nice to pair with Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz out on the edge.
Yeah, sign both of them. So I said.
There you go. I
mean, Williams is older, man. You just don't have to play him as much. You can, Wilkins.
So that's the thing about Wilkins is they're only like a year and a half apart. Like Wilkins is really? I was kind of surprised. Yeah, because Wilkins is in his 5th year, and I think he was a senior at Clemson. I think he stayed 4 years. I think he was there for a while. So yeah, Wilkins that is the thing to keep in mind. I think Wilkins is probably should look. I'll look this up, but I think he's gonna be 27 like next year. So he is, or might even be 28. He isn't like as young as you'd think. Like I kind of was surprised with how old he is. Let's see. He is, he's 28 right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 28, turns 29 in. If I can find his birth date on here. Oh, not until December. So he just turned 28, relatively. So yeah, 28-year-old guy. So, and Williams is 29, so not that much of an age difference. So yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know. I did not use that old. That's interesting, especially when Williams came out. What year did he come in the NFL?
He was Derek Carr's year, 2014. 2015. He was Amari Cooper's year. So they took Cooper over Leonard.
He's 29. That's crazy. So I was saying that age difference.
If I remember correctly, I think Leonard Williams was a young rookie. I think he was like 20 when he's coming out, like something like that, maybe 21. But if I remember correctly, Leonard Williams was a young rookie, like who left USC after 3 years, and Wilkins stayed for 4, maybe 5 at Clemson.
Yeah, interesting. All right, let's get into some Wilkins first before we get into Hunt. Let's just check out Christian Wilkins, see what he can bring to the Raiders.
All right, so one thing that we're going to see that's going to be kind of a consistent theme throughout these reps is Wilkins is pretty dominant at the point of attack. I hinted at that, alluded to earlier, as you can see on this play. Going to start here in a a 3-tech on the guard. Actually going to slant into the B gap here and take on this tackle. I mean, this is teach tape material right here. Like right now, like you can see it. He's got his helmet under. I believe that's Terrence Steele's. Hands perfectly inside. Like you can see, Steele's got his hands around his back. Nice wide base. And I mean, just dog walks him back into the backfield to reset the line of scrimmage. Like this is like when we talk about resetting the line of scrimmage, it doesn't get much better than this because we're on the 5, 10, 15, 20 right here. And they end up going about 2 yards in the backfield before he gets off the block and goes and makes that tackle. And again, that's something we're going to see a lot throughout these clips. This one's going to be a little bit of a different situation where he ends up actually slanting into the center. And again, same thing. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Right here. I mean, pad level is not as good. Biotic is a little bit shorter than Terrence Steele over here too. But even so, got good leverage. You can see it even better here. You know, he's got his hands inside, that wide base. And I mean, just dominates and like resets the line of scrimmage, playing in their backfield. And the other thing I wanted to point out too is this is a little mid zone here from the Cowboys where Martin and Biotic, they're supposed to be combo blocking Wilkins and working up to this linebacker. But because Wilkins wins so well at the point of attack, they don't have the first level secured. So Martin can't release until it's too late. And then look who ends up, coming free and making this play. Well, poor tackling by Duke Riley doesn't actually make the play, but you get the picture. Like this doesn't happen without Wilkins just dominating at the point of attack and at the front level to free that guy up. That's making the play without making the play. All right, so this one's going to be 3rd and short. I believe the Bills are going to run some duo here. We'll kind of see the more of the same. Again, another double team where it just doesn't matter with the second blocker because he beats the first guy or the guy he's lined up across from so well. Like that's kind of what he can do is he can disrupt double teams by basically not even having to take it on. Like when you're offensive line, like you're taught to take double teams to try and get hip to hip with your guard or tackle, whoever you're double teaming with, but you can't when the tackle gets pushed a yard in the backfield. I mean, watch Leonard Williams. Like he's going to take a look right at this gap and then immediately just beeline for the backside. Now our backside defenders aren't doing their jobs and they end up picking up the first anyway. But for what we care about, that's a pretty damn good rep. Different situation this time. This one's I think 3rd and 5. Bills come out and empty, and the Dolphins counter by basically having no linebackers in the box. You got Melvin Ingram out here on the edge, and there's another overhang defender out here too. You can't see. Or here he comes with the picture. So Josh Allen checks to QB power. I think this might be an RPO actually. But again, that's a double team on Wilkins. Now this one's not as dominant. He doesn't believe that's Osiris Torrance. He doesn't, walk Osiris Torrance back into the backfield. But still, we got great pad level. Our hands are inside. Bases like to see that 1 foot down, but even so, still got that wide base. And I mean, just sits in his gap. And then when Allen, for whatever reason, doesn't follow his blocking, he's right there to make the play on 3rd down and force the field goal. One more rep. I think this one. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. So this one, they're actually going to get a little full block. Again, kind of the same thing. Like, just at this point, I kind of hope you get the picture a little bit. Wins at the point of attack. He actually ends up picking the center who was trying to full block and get into this B gap. And then on top of it, too, once I believe that's Cook, James Cook. Cook's going to see that that lane's clogged. He's able to get off the block. Now, doesn't quite make the play here, but at least ties him up to keep him at the line of scrimmage. All right, moving on to a few reps in pass rush, and this, like I said before, he rushes the passer pretty similar to how he plays the run, where that is bull rush is probably his best and most consistent move. And I mean, again, this is a Hall of Fame guard he's going up against, and he made that look easy. Like, same thing. Like right here, boom. This is perfect. Hands are inside. Deposit a little too late, but got good pad level. And then the leg drive is just, it's impressive, man. There's not many guys that do that to Zach Martin throughout Zach Martin's career. And, I mean, just watch his legs. Never stops moving. He ends up getting a hit on Dak and preventing Dak from being able to complete that or get anywhere near that, completing that pass. I mean, if you look, too, like, Brandon Cooks is open. That's a first down if that pressure doesn't hit home.
Yeah.
Moving on to a little bit more of his pass rush arsenal. The second move that he's really good at, or at least decent at, I should say. I don't know if I qualify it as really good. Is he's got a decent little hand swipe move. He can play the hands a little bit to defeat the man. Like we'll see it right here. Just missed it. See it right there. Like you can kind of see how he knocks this Osiris Torrance inside hand down, and that kind of messes with Torrance's shoulders. And able to get a pressure on Allen. Allen completes it anyway, but even so. Similar rep here, just going to be the outside, but a little double hand swipe move. And 2, goes and gets the sack. Ends up actually getting the strip sack here. Not as easy to see from this camera angle, but ends up poking that ball out and getting some bonus points for recovering his own fumble here. But the other thing I liked about this too, is I want to watch right here, see how he kind of like took that little inside jab step, or that his first step was inside to get to square, give himself that two-way go. I can guarantee you Torrance is thinking about that hand swipe that he did to him where he won on the inside, gets him to stop his feet, and then gets double hand swipe to the outside that time, and goes and gets the sack. The other thing too, like we noticed this a little bit with Chris Jones, when I pointed this out, able to flip his hips, not quite as nimble as Jones is. I don't know if there is going to be a 300-pound dude who is. Yeah, but you can see he can clear his lower half a little bit, go get that clean win. And the other part too is I like that little breakdown. I don't know if you saw it; it's real subtle, where a lot of guys, especially against somebody like Allen, who can move in the pocket pretty well, they'll get to this point and then run right past him. Right, you'll see that all the time where they'll miss the sack. But because Wilkins does that little stutter, I'll just let it run this time. Like, he's able to break down and end up bringing down Allen, who, as we know, is not an easy quarterback to sack. And then again, on top of it, pokes the ball out and recovers his own fumble. So yeah, some pretty impressive stuff from old Christian Wilkins there. Again, some physical dominance at the point of attack. Nice little hand swipe move for him. I wish he would have had a little bit more diverse pass rush tools from what I could see.
Yeah,
maybe more counters off the bull like a guy like Leonard Williams does. But again, man, I mean, he's a lot of fun to watch. Pretty damn good player, and can't go wrong by signing that guy.
No, you can't. I think that's a huge upgrade right there, man. That'd be a huge get. Just kind of having that, the way he plays a run and can get after the passer, because I saw sometimes there that where they're able to get him one-on-one, especially against Cyrus or Torrance. I mean, he was just eating him up, and it opens up one-on-ones. We got Malcolm Kuntz and Max Crosby. Teams got to figure out who they want to go after too, and then especially if you get a good pass rush, if Tyree Wilson can grow being a pass rusher from the inside as well too on third down. So if you have all those guys come together and find ways to get after the passer, I mean that's dynamic, man. Your secondary really doesn't have to be that awesome.
It's true. Yeah,
they don't. Go ahead.
It's one of those situations. It's kind of like basketball a little bit. Like when you have. I mean, it's not going to be 5-on-5. It's going to be 5-on-4, but like there is a little bit of like you get a guy like that, and Malcolm Kuntz picks it up. We know Max Crosby's a stud. Like you said, if Tyree Wilson can continue to grow as an interior pass rusher on third downs, and you get Christian Wilkins, it's a who are you going to double? Because you got to double someone. Because if you single block one of those guys, I'm going to take my chances that one of the four of them is going to win. Maybe Tyree Wilson's not as much of a sure thing, but again, those other three, that's a nasty pass rush trio right there. That again, like. You leave one of those guys on an island, they're probably going to win, and that ball better be coming out pretty quick.
So yeah, that's the big upside with Wilkins, and he's probably going to be a little bit cheaper than Chris Jones just because he was released and all those things, and Jones just is coming off the Super Bowl win. He was dominant in the Super Bowl, so his price is high. Let's keep it real. His price.
I mean, for me, I don't know. Maybe people will take this as a hot take at 15 to 17 million, which I think is around where Wilkins and Williams are going to be projected versus Chris Jones at like 30. I'll take those other two any day of the week because I can get I can get two of those guys for the price of Chris Jones. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, like, don't get me wrong. I like Chris Jones. I think he's a good player. I'm not going to be. He's another guy that's going to be putting on a gold jacket when it's all said and done. But between him, like, kind of taking plays off against the run, not being the most into it, and having to be taken out, and where he's at this stage in his career, and the fact that both other guys are younger, like, I don't know. That's kind of the route I would go, at least, if I were calling the shots, if I'm Tom Telesco.
Yeah. I mean, Chris Jones thing, if they do sign him, would probably just be like a you to the Chiefs, probably
maybe 3-year deal.
Yeah, something like that. We'll see though. But Tom Telesco is known to go after big guys. He's going to go after those guys. He is.
Yeah.
You know that. All right, let's get into some Robert Hunt. Let's get some offensive side of the ball. Robert Hunt. It's a Dolphins show, guys.
I know, right? The Dolphins Raiders crossover.
We're going to Miami. You know what I mean?
We'll get Xavier Howard next episode.
hey, he's available. Robert Hunt, Mr. 68 right here. So we, of course, his offensive line, you guys already know, it's run blocking. Then we go pass blocking. So start with the run blocking here. Robert Hunt. I mean, there's a lot of outside zone. It is Mike McDaniel. You're seeing a lot of zone runs here. So you see on this one, there's a good job on this reach block to able to get in front of 93 here. He always has a good pad level too, always low. What I like about Hunt, I liked him coming out of Houston, I believe, was where he came from. I really did like him out of Houston. One of the Raiders to draft him. But you see, he is a fit for this offense right away because he runs zone, West Coast guy. However Mike McDaniel likes to dress it up, he runs the West Coast offense. So definitely a fit there. You see that good technique he has there in the run game, and he's consistently does a good job in zone in the run game. All right. Especially, you playing against the Giants team. We'll watch him against Dexter Lawrence, and I'll talk about him against better players. But see him again here, kind of the outside zone toss. Able to get in front of 98 again. He's very quick off the ball too.
Yeah, I was gonna say his get off is legit.
Yeah, he gets off the ball really quick. You know, his pad level is a little higher here. Usually he's pretty low, but you see how strong he is. He's still able to get in front of this guy. Great reach block.
I feel like he's able to flip his hips pretty easily too. So that's that's big in the zone scheme.
Yeah, he's an athletic guy too. He's athletic offensive lineman. You see it here again, a little outside zone. Again, you see him just throw that dude to the ground. So he's got some power too, man. They just don't run the ball like this. They don't, and that's what the difference is when he is actually doing run blocking and they're not doing these crazy jet sweeps and he's just blocking somebody just for fun. He can maul you. Let's just say that. You see it right there. Mm-hmm. Open up that big old hole for Raheem Morzer, and he's off to the races. So here he is against the Eagles. Right here, see him just kind of move Fletcher Cox right there. It's a good play by 41. I believe that's dude from Georgia, ain't it? Right? Ooh, that's him.
Is that? I think it might be Cunningham.
Yeah, that's a good linebacker play. But anyways, we're watching Robert Hunt. So back to here. So this way, you see once again, some duo a little bit because they're going to the strong side here. He just moves Fletcher Cox. He abused Fletcher Cox the whole game, who is retiring, so it makes sense. All right, here we go once again. Here he is against Fletcher Cox. More time here. Kind of see a little push he gets there against Cox. A little choppy there, but you can see it. He's a powerful guy in his own run game, man. He's very clean. He's great with his reach blocks. Very clean player when it comes to run blocking. See here, now you get a little kind of split zone. He just moving that dude like it's nothing. So
throwing dudes at the club.
Yes, he is. You see here, like I said, low, hands inside, and just drives his legs. Big old hole. And he got hurt, which I didn't realize. And, the Dolphins' offense really fell apart once he got out of there. So, he's a huge factor for them. I think he missed like week 8 through 13, came back week 13, he got hurt. So that is a concern too for me a little bit. Maybe why you don't want to pay him $16 million. But another thing is that when he gets into space though, it gets a little iffy here. So you see here, 58's able to just go right around him. He kind of, I don't know, he just gets high. Really what it is. You see it here, he gets really high, gets off balance. And when you get into space, you're not athletic enough. You're a guard. So
yeah,
these guys be able to just go right around you. You see it here, one more time, him getting into space. 58 just goes right around him. He doesn't even touch him.
I feel like he comes in too hot too. If he and part of it's probably pad level you're talking about. If he'd come in like more pound steps instead of just getting into that run, opening up the gate, better chance.
I mean, it didn't matter on this play, but you definitely see it is a little bit of an issue there. So, and then what I want to say, like we talk about when we're paying somebody $16 million, you got to block a player like Dexter Lawrence. Right.
Yeah.
So Lawrence, he tries to do what he's doing to everybody else. You see how Lawrence is just such a monster. It gets him off balance a little bit, right? And it just sheds him. It makes the tackle. So I mean, because he does get low here. He gets really low on Lawrence here, as you can see. But it's just not enough. And that's what I'm talking about against like higher competition. You can tell that he's not going to be able to go out there. Let's say the Chiefs re-sign Chris Jones. He's not going to have a great day. He might struggle a little bit. He'll hold his own in some reps, but he's going to get beat. All right. And here's him in pass protection. Here against Fletcher Cox here. Right. A little bit of roundup, but he does find a way to get his hands inside here. Keeps his hands inside. Keeps fighting. I like that rep. Great throw from Tua there. a little wide there, but he does a good job of getting his hands back inside.
Right there. Active hands too, working it with the little chops.
Yeah, his hands are always active. They're a little late, but they're active. Right, here he is. It's Jalen Carter. I believe that's Jalen Carter. Yeah. So Raiders fans can feel a little bit better about themselves. Right. And this was about him fighting with the hands. I mean, what Matt was pointing out here, because Carter does get him a little off balance here, but he's able to keep fighting. He's a fighter right there. Like, so that's what's about Tua getting rid of this ball quick. So, like, let's say it is Jaden Daniels, right? And Jaden Daniels is not going to be getting rid of the ball this quickly. I mean, he might just run up the middle right here for a touchdown. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still getting pushed back a little bit. Yeah. Because he gets rid of that ball so damn quick. It is, it's to me, in today's NFL, it's a little too quick. You're not Tom Brady, bro. But all right, here you go. So Robert Hunt, here you go. One more time. This one's more of a play action, so it kind of looks like a run. And even though he comes in wide, he does a great job of still getting his hands inside. And when he gets his hands on you, just a pretty good job. Like I said, he's a fighter inside, and he could really make it work there with Robert Hunt a little bit. So, and here you go one more time against Fletcher Cox. Pure pass protection here. See, it's good. You see here, he does a good job of getting his hands on him quick. And I kind of tell you could watch tape, like he's prepared for these guys and their pass rushing moves, right? Because you see how quickly he gets his hands in there. Yeah. He's ready for it. And then even, Cox does get a little bit of leverage. He does a good anchor right there. So, I mean, he's a good player. He's a good guard. I'm not going to say he's a great guard, but he is a good NFL guard. Because you see on these type of situations, this is what I'm talking about, Tua, just getting rid of the ball quick. So on this one, you kind of see him fighting, but the guy just tosses him. And then Tua, he's first reading it, so he just gets rid of that ball quick and he throws it into traffic. But we'll watch it one more time. So you see he's kind of got his hands inside. The guy's kind of beat him a little bit. You see he got a high pad level on this one a little bit. But other quarterbacks probably just come here. I don't know why Tua doesn't just throw here. But like if Tua did come and set his feet, right, that guy's in his face.
Yeah.
To throw that ball, right? And kind of Tua just kind of forces it over there because he's getting rid of that ball under 2.5 seconds.
Yeah. Well, that guy that D lineman does have good counter moves, as someone smart once said.
Yeah. All right, and here he is against Dexter Lawrence, and you see you can't let Dexter get your hands on you like this. It's over. He's getting help though from Connor Williams, but if he didn't get this help, you're gonna have to see what happened to him. Right? He just he is lucky he had help. So is Tua. Yeah, you can't let Dexter. This is what I'm talking about against better pass rushers and better defensive tackles. When you have some of these late hands and some of these issues are going to get up on you like this, it doesn't matter what your pad level is. Yeah, Dexter Lawrence is higher than you. It's not going to matter though. He's just going to toss you out the club like you were to other people. So,
yeah,
right. So yeah. I mean, that's Robert Hunt. I think, like I said, he is a good guard, right? I think he's a good player. He's an upgrade over Greg Van Roten, 100%. I'm going to say that right now, 100%, because he can do both. Greg Van Roten just pass block last year. He really didn't run block. He just pass block. This guy can run block, so we know that, and he's just as good of a pass blocker as Greg Van Roten. So he is an upgrade over Van Roten. It's more to me as the price, and I know what's going on. If I'm going to pay somebody $16 million, I probably want to play like Jonah Jackson that much, or somebody like that. That's maybe a little cleaner. I maybe even pay Dotson that much, who's a little bit cleaner than him overall, right? Maybe Hunt's a little bit better of a pass protector, but I think Stafford he throws more downfield. He's not getting rid of the ball as quick as Tua is. Tua is like catch it, slide, throw, right? Catch it, slide, throw. So it's keeping some of his issues. It just getting the raw ball that quick, getting rid of the ball that quick helps all offensive linemen. That's the
Yeah.
favorite thing they like. It makes them all look good. They make Pro Bowls. They do all these things when the quarterbacks get rid of the ball quick. So this, I think there's a good chance there that if he comes to the Raiders and we get a quarterback that might hold the ball a little bit longer, that you see those flaws pop up a little bit more. But he's still a good player. I think he is an upgrade over Van Roten. It's more the price for me. That $16 million, because he might want more than that. They get in a bidding war. I'm like, ugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The one thing, and I think you like kind of touched on it, like it's very clear he's like got good strength, but then again, when you get like he's kind of what you said, when you go up against Dexter Lawrence, who has elite strength, that's where the difference is. And when he has the size advantage, like he can throw guys out the club. When he goes up against 340, it's a little bit of a different story, and he's got to learn how to play. That's where he's got to like learn how to go back to his other bags and like use himself, like flipping his hips and doing all that stuff and work on just positioning, because as he learned out the hard way, you try and do that to Dexter Lawrence and you're the one about to get thrown out the club, not the other way around. But
yeah,
also, I do have a bone to pick with you, man. I'm sitting here hyping up Leonard Williams, and then you're gonna show a clip of him of Robert Hunt beating him. He at least made up for it on the one pass rush clip, but I'm like, come on, man, throw me a bone here.
That's funny. Yeah, that was before Leonard Williams got traded. So yeah. I mean,
I was talking about with the counter move on that other dude, the one that he got beat. That was Leonard Williams.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Against better pass rushers and those type of players, he is not the greatest guy in the world. So that's my thing. He's going to have those good pass rush numbers. I'm sure he didn't give up a lot of pressures, but you have to remember that Tua literally got rid of the ball like 2.2 seconds. So if he's catching and throwing, especially from the interior, unless you're just winning like right away and he's just whiffing, you're not getting there. So Tua protected offensive line probably made it look a little bit better than it actually was. So that's my concern with him. If he does come to the Raiders and the quarterback might hold the ball a little longer, his flaws might show up. So,
with a guy like Hunt and like any Miami offensive lineman, like what you almost want to look at more is if you're looking at PFF stats and just looking at that just for knowledge, you want to look more at the grade versus the pressures, because that's like you're saying, like he's going to get saved from pressures because the ball's out, so it's not technically a pressure. But the way PFF grades, like they're going to ding him for those snaps that you showed, like the one where Leonard Williams beats him, where that might not go down as a pressure against him, but that's going to hurt his pass rush or his pass protection grade. So that's where you want to look at it if you're trying to find a little bit more out on him and you're looking at PFF. But I will say though,
go ahead.
You can go ahead.
No, because he didn't have a good graded game against Giants in pass protection, so that makes complete sense.
Gotcha. And then I will say though, like the one omission, and this is more of a knock on you, the best play of his career is by far the screen that he just caught and did the like tumble into the end zone that he fell short on. I think it was his rookie year. I mean, that's the highlight of his career. I don't think he's ever going to top it. The fact that we almost got an illegal touchdown and that meme that'll live in infamy.
I remember that.
That's the Robert Hunt highlight.
Oh man, I actually forgot about that play. But wow.
Hey, if you want to use him as like a tackle eligible, he's got hands, because that was a hell of a snag. He just plucked that right out of the air. Running back plucked it away from the running back.
Yeah, man, that's hilarious. All right, man. Any other thoughts? Josh Jacobs is franchise. He's not getting tagged. They're in talks. We'll see how that goes.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Maybe I get proven wrong. It feels like a little bit more of a PR stunt for them to be like, yeah, we want to bring Josh Jacobs back. When I'm like, do you really? Do you really want to give this guy $12 million a year and then have him split carries with Zamir White? Because, I mean, I was reading Telesco's quotes about it from the combine, and he was basically said, he's like, we don't really want like a lead or a bell cow back or anything like that. And I'm like, that tells me like you're not paying one guy $12 million. You might pay the entire backfield $12 million, which I don't even know if they get that high, but you are not paying one guy $12 to $13 million to split carries. I mean, especially in today's market with the running backs and how we know those second contracts, that usually the wheels start falling off the wagon, and with how he ended the season injured, and the whole season kind of played out for him. So I don't know. I kind of feel like it's still I still I'm gonna stick by it until I get proven otherwise. I still feel like Jacobs has played his last down as a Raider.
You see, the thing is too, is the draft has a bunch of running backs. This draft is loaded with running backs. I mean, people love Trey Benson. He's probably the worst guy I watched so far. Because I watched Ray Davis. I can see those terrible these names. Jonathan Brooks, Jalen Warren. Is it not? That's the dude from the Steelers.
No, that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the running back from Tennessee. I know his first name is Jalen. Can't think of his last name right now.
Is it Wright?
Jalen Wright. Yeah, he's damn good too. And Ray Davis is.
I've heard a lot of good things about him.
See, Ray Davis is the type of guy you can get in the fourth round, and that dude is legit. He's a great runner, and then of course there's Estime, who might fall too because he ran a 4.7. Estime. Yeah, we're look at it. So Estime. Yeah, so he's a damn good runner too. So, you know what I mean? And he can catch the football, and he's a damn good runner. It's just he doesn't have a long speed. You can tell on film he doesn't have a long speed, but he has bursts where it's like he'll burst it a whole he kind of reminds me of Josh Jacobs a little bit actually. So there's some options there, man. I ain't even talk about the dude Isaac Guardo who ran a 4.3 at 223 pounds. So you know what I mean? There's so many options for them to go in this.
Yeah, dude from Louisville, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He never even started a game in college, but he just goes out and crushes it at the combine.
Yeah.
He had a 10 RAS, something like that, or if not 10, close to it.
Yeah, he had a crazy combine. And, those type of guys are out there that you could replace Jacobs with. So that's going to be the dynamic, too, with signing Jacobs is I really could. I mean, to be honest, if you drafted Ray Davis, I feel like Ray Davis he could do – because Ray Davis could come in and he could be the third down back until, maybe if Zamir White's not playing well, then you start giving Ray Davis more carries. But because he can catch and he blocks really damn well. And that's the type of guy I'm talking about. Like you could draft him, really young player who can come in there and be a third down back at first, maybe get some carries and, relieve Zamir White a little bit. And because he can block, man. And that's legit. Yeah. Those type of players are out there in this draft, and that's what it's going to be a little difficult for them to be like, okay, let's pay him $12 million. So,
yeah, I mean, I think like you said, I think there's a good amount of running backs that like they can target. And the one dude that kind of like keeps catching my eye, he caught it at the Senior Bowl and did it again at the combine. And unfortunately, I can't remember his name. And I'm just going to describe him as the white dude out of New Hampshire.
Yeah,
he's like, I want to say his last name's Loeb, maybe something like that. But anyway, guy from New Hampshire. I haven't seen him run the ball that much, and I'm gonna be honest. New Hampshire film is gonna be hard for me to come across throughout this process, so I don't know if I'll be able to get a chance to. But just his route running, and like when we talk about the Raiders needing to get in the third down back, if they are going to keep Zamir White and have him be the lead back or the RB1 in the rotation, then I think he could be a guy that could complement him pretty well and catch balls out of the backfield. I think I want to say he's decent pass pro. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I've seen from him as like a route runner, like he's smooth, man. He moves really well. And I know he's been that's kind of his claim to fame, what he's lauded for right now. So it could be a good compliment that when we're talking about day three and maybe even undrafted guys, he could be a good guy to keep an eye on. So
yeah. All right, guys. So that's it for today. Like I said, we talked draft, free agents, Robert Hunt, Christian Wilkins. Like I said, we got a whole bunch of draft stuff over there. I got my Drake Maye breakdown versus Georgia Tech. That's up there on the channel and in the members. We got. Like I said, I got every single quarterback, full breakdown, full games. Yeah, I just haven't done Knicks yet, so I'll probably do some Knicks. And then starting to get some other positions like Byron Murphy, all those guys, for the members. So just be on the lookout. Tons of draft stuff. We're grinding through it. And, of course, we got free agency coming up. So just be on the lookout for all the stuff from Taped Online, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Right here.
Peace.
Peace.